Hello YouTubers, I hope you all are doing well. I'm your friend Asif Ali is back again with another video. In this video, we are going to start a brand new course of programming language, which is the Python 3. Why I choose the Python 3 is because Python is one of the programming language which is on the top of the trending list of the languages currently available. Also, the demand of the Python programmers and Python developers in the current programming market is drastically increasing with the time. And it's good to say that Python is almost everywhere in every field. So what's the reason behind that Python gained so much popularity, and what are the features and many other important topics we are going to discuss in this video. But before jumping this video, I want to let you know about some prerequisites, some requirements, and some important points related to this course. What are the requirements are very simple. You just need a personal computer, and then you need some basic programming skills. That's it. The second point is suggestions and feedbacks. If you face any problem during this course, whether that problem is related to the audio quality, or you want to improve the video quality, or you want to add some new features in this course, just feel free and jot down in comment sections, or you can even text me and email me as well. I highly appreciate your suggestions and feedbacks, because what I think that this is only the way that I can improve my teaching methodology and I can improve the video quality as well. The third point is additional resources, which is a GitHub. GitHub is just simple online repository platform where programmers can upload their projects so that many other programmers can work on the same project. I usually do upload my projects on GitHub, where I can share the projects with other colleagues, and so that we can work together on the same projects. I will also upload all the code we will do in this course on the GitHub. You can check my GitHub profile in description below. You will get a plethora of code on my profile. So let's start the video. Introduction to the Python. The topics what we are going to cover in this video lecture is what is a Python, what are the popular apps developed in Python. We are going to discuss about Python, features of Python, and in the end of video we will going to discuss the learning path, or the best approach we should adopt in order to complete this Python course successfully, or what are the ways we should adopt in order to become an expert Python programmer and Python developer. So what is a Python? Python is general purpose high level programming language. Now what does mean by general purpose and what does mean by high level programming language? If you are from programming background, or if you are familiar with the C or C++, then you will heard about the high level or low level programming languages. If you are not, don't worry about that. We will discuss each and everything in detail in our coming videos. Just for now, remember that high level programming languages are those programming languages which do not depend on the machine, while the low level programming languages are all those programming languages which depend on the machine or the machine platform. What does mean by the general purpose is that, as I said, Python is almost everywhere. Python is not specified to any particular domain. We will do almost every type of work and every type of application by using the Python. We can use console applications. We can use Python for desktop applications, web applications, mobile applications, as well as the applications related to the machine learning, Internet of Things, and a lot more. So it's good to say that Python is everywhere. That's why we can say that Python is a general purpose programming language, not like that of other programming languages which are specific to any particular domain. So let's talk about the popular apps developed in Python. YouTube, the major portion of the YouTube is coded in Python. As you're watching this video through YouTube, one of the famous platform on the internet, BitTorrent, Kira, Google, Mozilla Firefox, a modern browser, Instagram, and a Dropbox, which is a cloud-based online platform for storage of your data. So let's look on the GitHub statistical report of the most popular programming languages on GitHub. You can see that on the top we have a JavaScript, 2.3 million projects on GitHub, and on the second position we have a Python, about 1 million projects on GitHub. So you can estimate how popular Python is. So let's talk about the Python. Python is a very simple and straightforward syntax. It can be your first programming language too. Like other programming languages, Python do not have multiple solutions for a single problem. There is only one solution for one problem, not like the other programming languages where we can solve any problem with multiple ways. But in the case of Python, there will be only a single solution for a single problem. This is a good point for Python because it makes the Python very simple to understand and to learn. Also, Python is a case sensitive. Case sensitive means Python can differentiate between small and capital alphabets. Python is also object-oriented programming language. Now, what does mean by the object-oriented programming language is that if you want to represent some real objects or a real world entity in our programming world, what we have to do that we just fetch some properties and some functions related to that object. Like I want to represent a student in the world of programming, then what I have to do is I need some properties of student like his name, roll number, registration number, and the functions which will operate on those properties. The collection of these properties and functions combinedly make an object. In the world of programming, we will say the combination of these properties and functions as an object. So we can represent any object in the real world in the Python programming. That's why we can say Python is an object-oriented programming language. The fourth point is it is a dynamically typed language. As we have two different types of languages out there. One is the statically typed language, another is dynamically typed language. What does mean by statically typed language is that those languages in which we declare variables before use, like in C or C++, before use of any variable, we usually declare those variables like int x, float x, and after that we can use. But in the case of Python, we do not need to declare the variables. We just directly use the variable name and Python itself and automatically declare those variables on the runtime. And another important point is our tutorials will cover the Python 3, as there are different versions of Python, but we will cover the latest version, which is the Python 3. One of the best point and one of the favorite features I like in Python is indentation in the place of the curly braces. If you are familiar with the C or C++, then you use the curly braces there in order to enclose a code. But in the case of Python, we use indentation, means spaces, in order to spread the code from other code. I will show what is meant by the indentation in the coming videos when we will do a programming. As I said, we use variables without any declaration because Python automatically declares those variables in runtime. Python use interpreter instead of compiler. We have different softwares like compiler and interpreter. In C or C++ we use compiler. That's why those languages are statically typed language, while the Python use interpreter. If you want to know about compiler and interpreter in detail, I will make a video about the compiler and interpreter. But for now, just remember that compiler can run a programming language and store the result in another file. But in the case of interpreter, the interpreter can run line by line code and just deliver it to the operating system for the further process. So let's talk about the features. Python emphasizes on the code readability. As I discussed about the feature of the indentation feature makes the readability of code in the Python. In Python, the memory management is automatic, but in the case of C or C++, we manually manage the memory, but in the case of Python, it manages automatically. As I said, it's a dynamically typed language, multi-paradigm programming language. There are the different way of programming we follow, like the procedural programming, structural programming, object-oriented programming. Python has ability to follow all of these paradigms. With Python interactive interpreter, it is easy to check the Python command. Python gives us a Python shell where we can check the Python commands by just writing the same command, not like in C or C++ where we have to make a complete program in order to check any command. But in the case of Python, we just need to write a single line what we need to check. I will show in the coming videos how we can do. Python is a platform independent language. What does mean by platform independent language is that whether you have operating system of Linux or Windows or OS, Python is run on every platform. Here we have a list of the library. As I talked about, the Python language itself is not that much huge, but the library of the Python is a very huge, which make the Python popular. There's almost separate library for every field. You found a library for web development, library for machine learning, artificial intelligence, networking. Almost for every field, Python has its own library. As Python is open source, the Python is very large, that's why the library of Python is gradually increasing with the time. Now we are going to discuss about the learning path. What we are going to cover in this tutorial or in this course is the Python basic or Python core. As I said, Python has a huge library and there is a different Python for different field. If you want to make your career in web development, you need to learn the Python for web development, or if you want to make career in the side of artificial intelligence, machine learning. But what I recommend that start from the Python basics. Just cover the Python basic course and then move to the GUI with Python. Python for desktop or Python for graphical user interface applications, or make some applications with Python, and then move towards the higher technologies like the data science, machine learning, and many more. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If there is any confusion related to any topic, you can just jot down in comment sections. I will try to answer each and every question. And for next video, stay tuned and goodbye.
If you enjoyed the video, do like and share. And for more videos, subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell icon for notifications. Stay tuned and goodbye.